We're out kayaking. There's Heather coming through the bridge. So hopefully go into the mangroves and maybe see some wildlife or sea creatures or all of the above.
After all the hiking we did, it was time to change it up. We launched our kayaks at the Anna Maria Island Bridge on Manatee Avenue and paddled off for some exploring. Unfortunately, the first thing of interest that we came across was this poor sailboat tucked up into the mangroves. Her mast was snapped and actually twisted underneath of the keel, and she still even had her sails rigged on.
Alright, so we found a sailboat. No mast. Here on the side of the mangrove. Looks like someone put a sticker on it. I wonder if this fell down the pit, got beached here in one of the hurricanes that went through recently. Headsail still there, all furled up. Sad to see. Man, that is sad to see. There's a dinghy behind it.
Then we pedaled up a bit further to where there are some small paths winding through the mangroves. Usually there's quite a bit of wildlife, mostly birds, some horseshoe crabs, and occasionally some fish. There's a lot of oyster beds and plenty of beautiful and wild native plants all around. We traversed up and down the coast here and just relaxed in the sunshine and watched the birds.
I've been beached.
While editing this back in Michigan, it's currently blowing 25 to 30 knots. It's been snowing for, I kid you not, 5 days straight. The feels like temp is a balmy -6 degrees Fahrenheit. It is so tempting to just pack it all back up and go back to someplace warm.
They're moving.
Can't fit. Let me go, damn it. Thank you. adventure.
So, horseshoe crab. Looks dead, but fully intact. Maybe it's alive. I don't know. Never seen a living one.
After weaving through the mangroves, we paddled back underneath the bridge and continued down the shoreline. We had seen another boat beached and wanted to check it out. After reaching the second boat, we realized that even further down, there was another boat. We were paddling against the wind, and I was pretty spent at this point.
Another dead sailboat. Maybe not dead, but shipwrecked. I don't know how you get it off. But I was on a mooring, what, 2 years ago when the hurricane came through, washed up here. This is my best guess.
At this point, I let Philip go do the exploring on the last two boats. Well, these are pretty wet kayaks, so can't necessarily say I'm a salty sailor yet, but I am a salty kayaker. Philip is going way over there because we found another sailboat up on the rocks, way out past this little island, so there we go. All right, we're just hanging out here, letting the wind take us back to there-ish, and Philip's on his way back, just floating away.
Wind noise is probably going to be really bad, but there's two wrecked sailboats right up ahead. I'm going to go check them out. Heather didn't feel like she was up to the paddle, so I'm doing it by myself. My shoulders are on fire, but we're having fun. It's sad. Couple little boats, decent sized 20 winches. Neither of them have a name. I don't know what they are. Sad to see boats come to their end like this, so who knows what happened, if they broke off their moorings or dragged anchor, or I don't know. Sad to see. Sad. I don't know if you can see it, but Heather is straight ahead. She hasn't made it very far back. So we're back to the other boat that she stopped at. Just working on trying to get caught up to her. I'll be glad to be done paddling. And here we are, back to Heather.
The next day we packed some lunches and drove a bit further south to Myakka River Park. Note, if you type Myakka into your phone's GPS, not pay attention, and just select the first thing that pops up, you will end up at Myakka State Park, which is about 45 minutes too far south. After then backtracking to Myakka River Park, we drove to the far end of the park and then slowly worked our way back to the entrance. We had parked where our trail ended and then trekked our way back along the road to our trailhead. I am so glad that we did this because we spotted two baby gators hanging out by the side of this little creek.
A couple little gators sitting there.
Then we started on a hike from Fox's High Road Trail to Fox's Low Road Trail. Now this trail is really interesting because it starts in some fairly dense forest and then you come out into this kind of grassland area. To me it feels very much like a savanna of sorts, and I'm always waiting for like a gazelle or a water buffalo to be around the corner. After that you walk into something straight out of The Land Before Time or Jurassic Park, with massive live oaks covered in little ferns and various air plants. It's such a different feeling from our forests at home that are full of maple, ash, elm, walnut, and assorted conifers. We don't really have any old-growth forests at home, so our woods feel quite orderly with generally straight and slender tree trunks as they compete for light. These trees are twisted and shaggy with long arms reaching out, and for the life of me I cannot understand how they support so much weight. Alright. Well, it took me 5 minutes to get that figured out, and now Philip's gone, so this is great. Sorry, the camera and I got into an argument. I hope this is the right one. Otherwise we might be in for a 3-hour tour. That'd be bad.
So far we've seen lizards and
Big lizards?
more lizards, and then we saw a couple small alligators, and that's pretty much all we've seen so far. But it's a nice day out. The sun's shining. There's Heather. I think we're a little over, we're probably 2/3 done with our hike. Alright, so it looks like Heather picked up a little hitchhiker.
Uh-oh.
And there's a little tiny, like, flying bug on her hat.
Oh, that's boring. After that hike, we drove to the bird walk, and unfortunately the most exciting bird we saw was this quite friendly crow. But Philip did help me get some slightly more exciting shots of the scenery. That was not what I was going for. I think it's probably better during flood season when the water's quite a bit higher. Our next stop was the Myakka Outpost, and this is one of the better areas to see the generally most popular residents of Myakka, alligators. Now, my camera lens wasn't really doing me any favors, or honestly helping me in any way here. And yes, that's a poor gator who's sadly gone belly up. Circle of life, I guess. My Michigander biscuits were not going anywhere close enough to get a better shot. Then we were on our way to the Nature and Canopy Walk, and we saw our first Florida swamp deer, and then we stopped for a snack. Now, the Myakka Outpost has some great concessions, but I am a sucker for a good old peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a side of cookies after some generally easy adventuring. On our honeymoon, we went to Grand Marias in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, and it's adjacent to Pictured Rocks, and we did a lot of day hikes. We basically lived on peanut butter sandwiches. It was awesome. Really kind of brings back the nostalgia. Then it was time for our last walk of the day. If you just need a short little hike, this really just kind of encompasses the whole feel of Myakka. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Okay, come back. Walk through and keep going until you're out of camera range.
That's boring. The last stop for us was the bridge. Close to the entrance, there's always a crowd milling around. This is the best place to really see some of the big alligators that call Myakka home. We took a quick look at them and then had to head back to the condo to get ready for our drive back to Michigan. Next week, we'll be back to boat work.